Hey guys, I'm gonna get my stream set up on my end, and then we'll be good to go. I'm just waiting for this webcam circuit. We have 4 spots right now. We're starting in just a little bit. I'll jump off of here at 9 a.m. and go and help everybody get checked in. But in the meantime, thought I'd stream something about some Godzilla competitive grades. All right, let me go get set up here. I need to. There we go. I'll mute myself. All right, time to go share it everywhere. Let's see, content. All right, there we go. There we go. Welcome in. This is going to be pretty chill today. I'm just kind of hanging out while we wait for this event to start. I thought I was going to have a ton of stuff to do to talk about this morning, but then I ended up having to do a lot of admin stuff for the event. Yes, an evil unicorn is saying Rodon is bonkers. Won locals this week through Jin, Ryukyu1, and Kuryu. That's a pretty solid lineup to go through at locals. Honestly, Jin, Ryukyu1, and Kuryu, all of those I think are top 20, top 25 characters right now. Were you on the Void build or the Air build? The Eraserhead build or the Jiro build? Yeah, so this our webcam major tournament 1 is starting here at 10 a.m. Central Time, so that's 2.5 hours, and we have 4 spots left. So if you wanted to play, but it was full, it's been full for like the last several weeks, but from players doing last minute drops, we now have 4 spots available. So go and sign up if you want to play. I'm going to have signups all the way until 15 minutes before the event. I would rather the event be full than force everybody to be perfectly on time and be super strict around that. Because we set this up like a month ago. I set the player cap to 64. It immediately got filled within 2 days. And then like 20 players, dropped in the last like week because they realized they have a local qualifier or they just forgot about it, but they wanted to sign up so that they weren't left out here. So if you're unfamiliar with the webcam circuit, we're going to have 3 major tournaments. This is the first of them, sponsored by Rochester CCG. They sent me a case of Girl Power for prizing. You can see that. I've got my case of Girl Power from Rochester. And the prizing for this tournament is first place is going to get $100, 3 boxes, a custom playmat that I'm still working on, and an invite to the Webcam World Championship. Second place is going to get all of that, but only 1 box. Top 4 is going to get $50 in an invite. And then if you get top 8, you'll just get $50. So what is the Webcam World Championship? That's going to be December 7th. It's going to be for 16 players, the top 4 from each of the 3 major tournaments, and then the top 4 players in terms of Swiss standings from all 3 tournaments combined. So if you played in all 3 and you won like 2 games each tournament, that would be like 6 wins towards your total points. So it'll be a 16-player invitational, and it's going to be $3,000 free to play for the Webcam World Championship. $3,000 on the line. The pricing is going to be very, very generously given out. So that's the big thing getting handed out here, right? So it's $15 to sign up. If you win, I mean, you're getting 3 boxes, $100, and a playmat. Oh, that's already like $400, $500 of prizes, and you're getting an invite to the $3,000 World Championship. So that is what is on the stake today. On the stake? At stake? That is what is at stake today. And we got 4 open spots. So if you woke up this morning and you clicked on this stream and you have absolutely nothing to do today, because this is probably going to go until 10 p.m., then go and sign up. It's going to be 5 rounds of Swiss, followed by a cut to top 8, and then 30-minute break and top 8. I am going to be commentating with Tam. I think round 1 is going to be Tam and Sean from Rochester for commentary. Round 2, I think I might join. And then round 3 through 5 of Swiss, it's going to be my teammate Jeremy Cladd with Tam. And then I'll come and join for top cuts. So I think I'll be joining Tam for commentary round 2 and for top cuts. Or it might just have Jeremy show up a little early and do rounds 2 through 5 and then just have me do top cuts. We'll see how we'll just play it by ear on that. But that is the plan. It's going to be streamed on Tam's Twitch. He's going to go live in about an hour at 9 a.m. Central Time. He's going to go live, and that's when I'll stop this stream, and I'm going to go and help players because I'm positive there's going to be a lot of people. It's going to be in my Discord, and got to make sure everybody has the right roles. Everybody had their Google form filled out. I think we're still waiting on 14 of these 60 players to fill out their Google form. So I think we have 46 players right now that have done everything correctly and are ready to go. At 9 a.m. Central Time when I jump off here, if you have not filled out your Google form, I'm going to go ahead and unregister you from the event. And then if you submit it, I'll go back and check you in all the way up until 15 minutes before the event. So, you know, we might have around 50 players for today rather than the full 64, just for people like last minute dropping. And, you know, it's a lot harder to get a new player when somebody drops at the last minute compared to had players dropped a week ago, we would have had 7 days to go out and get new players. So, you know, that's not the end of the world, but it is what it is. So if you want to play, go and sign up now. It's only $15, and you have a chance at 3 boxes, a play mat, and an invite to the World Championship, and a $100 bill. So that's not too bad. But while we wait for everything to kick off, I meant to make this video like a Godzilla competitive grades video, and then I just never made it. At this point, I think the content has kind of, what would you say, like jumped the shark. Like it's a little too late for it timing wise. Now that Godzilla's been legal for a week, we've had these cards on Tabletop Simulator for like a month now. So everybody's pretty familiar, but we have an hour to kill before the event. So let's do it anyway. I made this slide deck and I don't want to just put it to no use. So let's jump in here. And then if you have any questions about the event, I want you to put it in the chat and I'll go and immediately help you. I'll just pause what I'm doing on the stream. And then, like I said, at 9 a.m., I'll jump off of here. Tam's going to go live, and then I'll just go and help players with tournament details. But go and sign up if you have a deck ready to go and you have a free Saturday. Okay, competitive grades for these Godzilla Challenger decks. They just released. We had Cowboy Bebop and Trigun Stampede, and then the Critical Role Challenger decks previously, and I did competitive grade videos for all of those, and I was pretty harsh on them. For each of them, I think I only gave like 3 or 4 cards in A tier grade. Most cards in the Challenger decks were like C tier grade or B tier. So I was pretty harsh. And how is Godzilla going to stack up to our previous Challenger decks that we got this year? Okay, let's start out with Godzilla himself, king of the monsters. He's just a big guy. He gives big stats. Your attacks with printed difficulty 5 or greater get 3 damage. You can spend a momentum to get +2 to your check for an attack or a block. And then you get this first form board wipe. I find that first form board wipe, I'm only using it 20% of the time. Like 80% of games, it's just not a button that should be pressed. You can basically just consider Godzilla the first 2 abilities, the static +3 damage on 5 difficulty attacks and higher, and then the enhanced to spend the momentum. But 20% of the time, the board wipe comes in handy. You know, if you're just being drastically outbuilt, if you want to take down their defensive wall, then 20% of the time that's a button that you want to press. But most of the time, Godzilla is just a 34 health, massive health total for a 6-hander, giving everything 3 damage. The only downside is that you're locked into these attacks that are 5 difficulty or higher, but that's not really true because we have City Rampage that effectively turns all those 5 diffs into 4 diffs. We have fake 5 diffs like Smashing Stomp, Blue Flame Torment, Black Abyss, all of these cards that are actually going to help your checks. So, that's why I call them fake 5 diffs, or like Walk the Dog. If they have 4 more committed, it's going to become a 4 diff. So I don't see that as something holding back Godzilla too much. If you watched my Endeavor Mountain video, I think Godzilla's a top 15 character in the game right now. He's going to get a solid A tier grade, and I've got the alternate art here for all of the cards that have alternate art variants. And I'll just say before we jump on, the secondary market for these has been really, really good. I pulled an alternate art Kuryu, Mechagodzilla Kuryu. I sold it for $200 almost immediately. And then I bought this Bionic Menace for $250. And now I'm thinking about playing Kuryu instead. So, joke's on me. I made a Bionic deck, and then I realized Kuryu might just run this better. But I made that decision after I had already sold Kuryu and bought Bionic. So now I want to go in reverse, and I would like to sell this for $250 and buy back my Kuryu for $200. But the secondary market for these alt arts has been really good. They've been pretty common to pull. I think the average is about, you're going to get an alternate art character 1 in every 2 displays, which would mean 1 in every 8 decks. So if you spend, let's see, what is that? 35, 70, 100. If you spend $280 on product, you should get an alternate art character. But there's 6 characters now. So even though they're more common to pull, there's more to find. So if you want to find the alternate art character that you want, you'd probably have to spend a couple $1,000s on product, right? If it takes $280 to get 1, then if you want to get all 6, you're probably going to have to spend $2,000 something. So the alternate arts right now have been selling for about $200 to $300. And I think Godzilla is probably going to be the most chased one. All right, next up we have Kuryu. This is the character that I have been playing a lot recently. I'm thinking about playing Kuryu for St. Louis. He's a lot of fun. Ultimately, I don't think he's quite as good as Godzilla, quite as consistent. So I'm going to put him in the B+ tier. But he basically gets to spend a card from his hand for either powerful or EX. And he can do both at the same time. So if he's playing a card like Patchwork Baby, he can do EX3 and Powerful 3 from his hand on turn 2. And then every time he plays a card with a printed difficulty of 5 or greater, he's going to draw a card. He reminds me a lot of Ryukyu 1, except with lower barrier of cards he can play. Right, Ryukyu 1 has to just play blank cards. Kuryu's just anything 5 difficulty or higher. He can even play cards like Deadbolt. I'm convinced that Deadbolt is a very, very good card and very good in the meta right now. And he can play Deadbolt and then just draw off of it. He can play Runaway. Runaway is another great card. You block with it and then you get to draw. City Rampage, if you're on like the Earth variant. If you're on Earth, I think you get access to like a Byakko 5 diff foundation that you could then draw off of because it only says printed difficulty of 5 or greater. And then he gets to play, a lot of the Godzilla cards that help your checks and they're fake 5 diffs. I think he's very, very good. We have access to a lot of EX3 Powerful 3 cards right now, like Patchwork Baby, Armor of the Wolf. What's the last one? Repeated 100% Smash. all three of those EX3 powerful 3 cards are on Kuryu symbols in some way. Either through order, good, or earth. He gets access to every single attack with powerful 3 and EX3. I think B plus might be underselling him. I made this slide deck like a month ago. So in the last week, I've kind of really come around on Kuryu. I might put him in the A tier if I had made this today. Okay, we got Mothra, 8 hand size, 21 health. But at the start of her end phase, she's going to have to discard a card. And then you can commit and get plus X or minus X speed for the printed difficulty. And if you spend 2 momentum, you can ready Mothra. I think Mothra is the ultimate like tech character. If you're running any tech pieces, you know, if you just run 1 or 2 copies of a card in your deck, you have a very good chance of seeing it with Mothra. You know, if you have like a card that would be a big deal in a matchup, side 2 of it in, you're almost guaranteed to see it. You're going to see like 14 cards on turn 1 if you want to mulligan, right? You can draw up to 8. You can mulligan, draw another 8. Now you saw 16 cards. If you're going second, you get to draw an extra. You can selectively mulligan. You basically just see like 20% of your deck on turn 1, and you get to choose what you want. So if there's a tech piece that's going to be a big deal in the matchup, you will see it. You will see it with Mothra. So I think Mothra is pretty good, but ultimately just not giving as much raw stats as the other characters. You're kind of dependent upon seeing her attack Electric Moth to be able to re-ready Mothra for free without using the 2 momentum. And then if you're spending the 2 momentum to ready Mothra, you're doing that at the expense of using the momentum for something else in your game plan. So ultimately, the raw power really isn't here as much as the other characters. Every time I see this alternate art, I just think of Butterfree. This just reminds me of Ash Ketchum and Butterfree when he's like releasing Butterfree. Butterfree like finds a romantic companion, I think, and he releases him into the sunset next to the ocean, if I'm remembering correctly from my childhood memories here. But that's what comes to mind when I see that alternate art Mothra. So Mothra is going to get a B. So that's B for Mothra, B plus for Kuryu, and a solid A for Godzilla. Now let's jump into their support cards. Okay, City Rampage. 5 difficulty action. While it's in your card pool, everything's getting +1/+1. And all of your checks to play attacks with a difficulty of 5 or greater get +2. Now this is going to clog your card pool. Basically what this is doing is all of your 5 difficulty attacks are now 4 difficulty attacks. But you're doing it at the expense of a card in your hand, but they're also getting +1/+1. So City Rampage is one of these cards that I kind of go back and forth on. When it works, it really, really works. But a lot of the times it's just kind of clogging your hand, and it's probably not something you want to be playing. It's a mid block. Like I put this as like a top 5 overrated card with Sam Tate on Ace Maneuvers like 3 weeks ago. But it also is very good when used correctly. So I'm going to give it a B+. In certain characters, for example, like Gentle Criminal, giving +2 to your checks is also going to be giving +2 to your speed for everything. And that can be a big deal. In a character like Kuryu, it doesn't cost you a card in hand. It's free. You get to play it and then you get to draw. You know, I guess it's free as long as you don't check a 3. That's the other thing. If you play this and then check a 3, it can feel pretty bad. So I don't think it's like crazy A tier, but I think it has a place in the game. And a lot of characters, especially like Kuryu and Gentle Criminal, are going to love City Rampage. Okay, Gathering Energy, 1 difficulty asset. By the way, Mimic got a 1 difficulty asset on all of his symbols from Godzilla, between Gathering Energy and the other one that I can't remember the name of. After you take damage, remove the top card of your deck face down. You can't look at it. And then you can remove, look at the face down cards, remove, choose up to 2 of them, add them to your hand, and turn the rest face up. This is really cool for a 1 difficulty asset. I've been playing this in my Earth Endeavor 3 deck, and it's been very, very good because now I get to form on Endeavor 3 to go find an attack. I get to form on Gathering Energy. It adds an extra layer of consistency to Endeavor 3, and because in Endeavor 3 you have a very limited amount of time to make a kill turn happen. It has to be after you cycle, but before you mill yourself out. And so you get this like 1 or 2 turns that you need to go in and win the game. And you need to be consistently finding the attacks you need. The Endeavor 3 form goes a long way, but if you combine that with a form like Gathering Energy, you're just ultra consistent. And even if you only remove 1 card here in that response, you can still add it because the form just says, look at up to 2 of them. I find myself using this card as soon as I have 2 cards removed, no matter what the situation is. just to be able to build faster, or just to find attacks. Basically, it's just a 1 difficulty asset you build down. It's going to turn itself into 2 cards in your hand later on in the game. That's very, very good. A minus. And it's got one of the sickest alternate arts that there is. Destructive Slam. 5 diff, 4 mid 5. It's a throw. It's not doing much else. B. The nice thing here, I guess I just shouldn't totally skip over it, but the nice thing here is that it's a 4 speed. Most of the times throws, we see them with 2 speed, 3 speed, 1 speed. So it's nice to be able to run a throw that's not taking away from your speed too much. Because unless you're playing a mono throw deck, the way you're landing attacks is either by zones, right? Making everything mono low, mono high, or it's by speed. And here it's a mid attack, so you're not doing much on your zone changing here, but it's 4 speed. So you can throw a couple of this throw into your deck. You can throw a couple of this throw into your deck and not feel too bad about it, even if you're not running a full throw package. That is what I like here, but it's just not quite doing enough. I mean, it's a 3 mid block, 9 stats on a 5 diff. It has this response after it deals 7 or more damage, your rival destroys 1 foundation. That's not really a big deal on the response. Very, very rarely would that turn a game in any significant way. So it's just a 4 speed throw. That's not bad, but it's also not good. Electric Moth. We got this 4 diff. By the way, I got 17 people watching. Let me just take a break here real quick and tell you. We have 4 open spots for the first major tournament in the webcam circuit. $15. First place is walking away with $100, an invite to the $3,000 16-player Invitational Webcam World Championship, December 7th, a custom playmat that I'm still working on, and 3 boxes of Girl Power from Rochester CCG. If you don't know Rochester CCG, one of the best online stores in Universus. I use them all the time. I think I have like a 6% lifetime discount now from buying so much product from them. Fair prices, free shipping most of the time, for me at least, and they ship pretty quickly. Malcolm says, I have had no interest in playing the Godzilla, wait, I think my heart button is over, in the good symbol until the Godzilla Mothra deck released. Yeah, good symbol was kind of weak for a little bit. But I've seen Kuryus doing some crazy things on the good symbol with Sword Get Longer and building 3 foundations in that way. But Electric Moth, we got 4 difficulty, 3 high 4, charged, ranged. Those are very good keywords to have. It's on 2 Falling Skies symbols with the keyword charge. So now you got this charge attack package and it's a high. So Electric Moth and Falling Skies are just best friends right away. It's good to be best friends with maybe the best card in the game. Enhance, discard 1 card, draw 2 cards. That's an A tier effect already. Doesn't need a second sentence, but it does. If your rival has 10 or more foundations, draw 3 cards instead. That's cracked. That's nuts. Discard 1, draw 3 is crazy. That's basically like a hidden deadlock, right? Normally, discard 1, draw 2. But if they're at 10 or more, you're going to draw 3. And then you get this giant enhance ready your character after this attack resolves. That's not a big deal unless you're playing Mount Lady 2, Air Rodon, or of course Mothra on all 3 of these symbols. So I think this card is an easy A+. I think we're going to see it everywhere. I don't care that it's understated. 3 high 4 isn't great stats, but I don't care because discard 1, draw 2 is an A tier effect. You're going to be seeing an extra 2 cards that turn. If you're a 6-hander and you play this, now you got to see 8 cards that turn. The added consistency from this is very, very good. If you're a character that's able to add stats, then this attack becomes very consistent. For example, Endeavor 3. If you're playing like Earth Endeavor 3, you get to give this thing, it becomes 5 speed, and you can make it 7 damage. And then you can draw 3, and you're just, now you got to use your Endeavor 3 form, you got to use Gathering Energy, you got to draw 3 with Electric Moth. You're just seeing your entire deck on your kill turn, basically. I think Electric Moth, very, very good, and it really helps that it synergizes with Falling Skies. This attack just has everything going for it. Easy A+. I think it's probably a top 10 attack. Top 10, maybe I'll say top 20? Top 20 attack in the game. I think that would be pretty fair. And it's got this sick alternate art here. Flying Zap, 3 hide 2, 3 diff. After this attack deals damage, add the top card of your deck to your momentum. So it's like a double momentum. If it deals damage, this is going to go to momentum, and you're getting another momentum. That's pretty solid. It's a 1 low block. Like, I don't think this card is bad at all. I just don't see where it's going to fit into a competitive deck. So I'll say C+. Like, I just don't know any deck that is like, looks at Flying Zap and is like, yes, I need that. And when we have thousands of cards to choose from, I don't see it finding its way into a competitive deck, but it's also not a bad card. Just not quite doing enough to, like, obviously it's meant for Mothra, where if this deals damage, now you get to re-ready Mothra. But I don't think that's doing quite enough here. Heat Ray, 6 difficulty, 7 low 6, Deadlock stun 3, 1 high block. This is all good so far. This attack gets 1 damage for every 2 cards in your discard pile with a difficulty of 5 or greater. So if you have 10 attacks in your discard pile with difficulty of 5 or greater, this is going to become a 7 low 11. That's 18 stats on a 6 diff. That's 3 stats per difficulty. That's already like A tier stats to me. So this is paying off the 6 diff on stats alone, and it has a deadlock effect. And we get this response. After this attack deals damage, flip 2 rival foundations. You get to choose the rival foundations. You're really forcing your rival to have to block this 7 speed low move. I really like Heat Ray. If you're playing like City Rampage, this is going to become like a 5 difficulty move. If you play this after like a Blue Flame Torment, you could play this on a 5. We've seen that Blue Flame Torment into Prominence Burn a lot. I could see that shifting to Blue Flame Torment into Heat Ray, at least on the Chaos symbol. If you can find any way to play this pretty quick, the downside to this is it's a 6 difficulty attack. So if you play it as your opening move, there's a good chance your rival can block it, and then that response doesn't get to go off. But in Deadlock, this is a great wall breaker because of the Deadlock stun 3. And so it's a great opener there in Deadlock. But if you can find any way to play this as your second or third attack and guarantee that it's going to hit them and then flip 2 of their foundations, that's very, very good. It's got the Earth symbol with Byakko to where you could be flipping 3 foundations unless they can deal with your 7-speed move. And then if they block your 7-speed move, maybe you just kill them because they committed all their resources so that you don't flip their best things. On the water symbol, you get access to a character like Recovery Girl, who can just destroy 2 foundations and make this a throw. Now it's definitely going to deal damage. It's going to be like a 12 damage throw. And then it's, now that it's definitely going to hit as a throw, she gets to flip 2 of your things. I could see Recovery Girl really liking Heat Ray. I think there's a lot of things here. It's going to be in the A tier for me because it's a 6 diff. That's going to make it a little more niche. So I'm going to give it an A-, right? Electric Moth gets slapped with an A+ because it's a 4 difficulty attack and the effect is very, very generically strong. So it's just going to go in most decks on its symbols. Heat Ray is going to get an A- just because it's a little more niche. Kaiju Clash. This is C+. I think this card is completely outclassed by Armor of the Wolf. Armor of the Wolf is on Earth and Chaos. It is a 2 high block. It is a 5 mid for 5, and it has EX3 and Powerful 3, and then every time they pass, you're getting extra damage. This is basically Armor of the Wolf, except instead of getting EX3 and that response effect, you get 1 extra speed. It's not like a bad card. It's just that any competitive deck is not going to be running this card. They're going to run Armor of the Wolf. So for that reason, I just can't put it in the B tier if it's completely outclassed by another card. Mega Burst. 5 difficulty, 5 mid 5, stun 0, but after you play it, it's going to get +1 to its stun rating for each attack in your card pool. If you play this as your 3rd attack, it's going to get stun 3. Destroy a foundation, it gets +2 speed or +2 damage. I really like the versatility there. But ultimately, the problem is, if you have a 5 difficulty attack that also says stun, you want that to be your opener. And this wants it to be like your 3rd or 4th move. Well, stun isn't really nearly as powerful as your 3rd or 4th move as it is on your 1st move. And you're going to have to be playing this on like a 7 or on an 8 to make it truly matter. I think this could work in like a deck like Overhaul, where you ignore progressive difficulty on it. You play it from your stage. But even then, Overhaul's got better things to be playing, right? Like maximum overhaul from his stage and then pick up 3 things. Um, this is cool. This is this is a very unique attack. It's not an attack that's outclassed by anything because we really don't have anything like it. So I like this attack. I'm going to give it a B minus. I could see it finding play in the right situation. I just don't see how this would be good in the majority of decks. But because it's so unique, I'm positive that there's someone that could do cool things with this card. Malcolm says this is great value armor, the wolf. Yeah. This is like when your mom goes and doesn't buy Fruity Pebbles and they buy like I don't even know what the name of those cereals are, but we always got stuck with them. The massive bags of the fake cereal. Okay, Mega Burst. By the way, speaking of cereal, I found on Amazon, because Chex is my favorite cereal, I found on Amazon Peanut Butter Chex. Peanut Butter Chex is the best cereal I've ever had in my life. It's either that or it's just been too many years since I had Reese's Puffs, and so maybe I forgot the taste of Reese's Puffs. But Peanut Butter Chex is a game changer. I encourage, go on Amazon and get yourself some. It does. I don't know. Corn Chex has always been my favorite, just for I like the way from a what would you say, like the consistency wise that it tastes, not necessarily the flavor, but then peanut butter gives it that flavor. I think it's the best cereal that there is. Smashing Stomp, 4 low 6, EX3. Your next check to play an attack is +1, which means that this is basically a 4 difficulty attack if you play another attack after this. Response after this attack deals damage, draw 1 card. This is basically Rapid Punches. They share Rapid Punches shares the Earth symbol. So on Earth, this is just like better Rapid Punches. Rapid Punches is a 5 low 4 diff after it deals damage, draw a card. But this is a low block. Rapid Punches is a mid block. This has EX3. Rapid Punches doesn't have that. I think EX3 on here is a big deal, especially because it's 6 damage. If you can pour 1 momentum into it and make it a 7 low 6, hey, that's like Heat Ray. Right now we got Heat Ray for a 4 difficulty attack. And it's a low block. So I think this is just better Rapid Punches. That's going to go in the A tier. We see Rapid Punches be slammed into a lot of decks. We've got an attack that we can make fast, and if it deals, we get to draw. Peanut Butter Crunch is better than Reese's Puffs, in my opinion. I haven't had any of the... to be honest, I haven't had any of the super sugary cereals in a long time. Like I used to eat. It's just been like Honey Bunches of Oats, Cheerios, and Chex for me lately. So maybe that might be why Peanut Butter Chex is tasting like the best thing. Ferocious Attacker. 1 difficulty, flip. If your rival has lost health this turn, draw 1 card. That's a 1 difficulty spam foundation that you flip to draw. That can't be bad. It's going to go in B+. The reason it's in B+ and not A tier is because it's dependent on your rival having lost health this turn, which is a lot higher of a bar to clear than the other 1 difficulty foundations that draw. Like Fearsome Transformations is if you have momentum. Chivalrous Competitor is always online. It's just going to give your rival a draw, but it also helps you protect your stage from getting destroyed with the response on it. Flustered is dependent on charge attack. So if you build charge attacks into your deck, that's going to be pretty consistent, and it has the added versatility of being able to discard a rival momentum. So for those flip to draw on a spam foundation should be really good. It's just that on, I think, all 3 of its symbols, there's kind of better 1 diffs to flip to draw that you could be playing. Because of that, it's going to go in the B+. Normally, 1 diff flip to draw should just be immediate A tier, but in this one, I think there's better things that you could probably be doing. 3 difficulty, History's Greatest Monster. After you play a card with printed difficulty of 5 or greater, ready this card. And you can do that as soon as you play a card. So if you play your opening attack, you check a 3, you can commit this for that attack, and then you can use the respond to ready it. So you can just use that right away. Deadlock Enhanced Commit, your attack gains throw. So this is kind of similar to Nice Try. Did I give this a B? Okay, I made this presentation like a month ago. I would say B+ or A- on this card right now. that deadlock enhance to give something throw is very, very powerful. It's especially powerful because you can just re-ready it on that response. So basically that's saying 2 of your attacks this turn are getting throw. If you have any other way to ready a card, then you could be getting 3 deadlock enhances to gain throw on your turn, right? Like it shares a symbol with refreshing blend. Discard a momentum, ready a card in your stage that hasn't been readied. So use the deadlock on this, refreshing blend, ready it, use it again, and then use the response on it to ready it, and then use the deadlock again. I think the deadlock is very, very good. 3 foundations. It's basically like, kind of similar to those cards like Nice Try, where it gets to re-ready itself and then it's -2 speed. So that's kind of like 3 foundations over the course of a turn. I really like this card. I think B was kind of underselling it a month ago. Today, I would say A- or B+. Incomparable size. Flip, this attack is +2 or -2 damage. I don't know what this is doing on a 2 diff. I'm going to say C-. This is kind of a rare Godzilla miss, especially when you have such cool art here with the eye of Godzilla being right next to this guy. Monster aggression. Spam foundation 2 low block. We like that. Destroy a foundation. Your attack with printed difficulty 5 or greater gets +1 speed and +1 damage. We see a lot of spam foundations where you can destroy a foundation to get 1 stat. You can get 1 speed or 1 damage. There's a ton of those. I'm trying to think of the names of them. Like on the water symbol, for example, you have that one that says, give it +1 damage. If it deals damage, gain a health. I can't remember the name. On water, you also have that one that says get +1 speed. I can't remember the name of that one either. Dang, that's going to bother me, but that's okay. But this one is giving +1/+1. And we're seeing a lot of attack packages right now being pretty heavy on 5 difficulties, especially on the Godzilla symbols. So I think that this is very, very good. And it's just a really nice 2 low block. I'm going to say A-. If you're playing 10 or more 5 difficulty attacks, you should probably be playing monster aggression in your deck to some extent. Moth Monster, 2 difficulty, 6 check, feeling cute. Feeling cute. No, it's not feeling cute. Yeah, it is feeling cute. That's the +1 speed. Sorry, guys. I have to consult UVS Ultra now because this is going to be too much on my mind. Feeling cute. Yeah. Feeling cute. Destroy for +1 speed. And then the +1 damage. I have to set it to standard. Let's see it. Let's see it. The moment of truth. Why can't I find it? Is it not on water? Yoko form. Unstoppable force. Supportive friend. Struggling. Self-doubt. Resourceful. Problem solving. I guess it's not on water. I was thinking of chaos. Nejire-chan of the big 3. There we go. It's not even on water. Okay, I just got mixed up. Nejire-chan of the big 3. Destroy for +1 damage. Yeah, that was the one I was thinking of. So this is basically just twice as good as those. You're getting 2 stats instead of 1 stat for the same cost, destroying a foundation. It's a little more gated on what attacks you can do, but if you're playing a solid quantity of 5 difficulty attacks, you should be playing Monster Aggression. It's also just a great block. Moth Monster, 2 diff, 2 high block, 6 check. We like all of those things. Commit. This attack gets -2 speed. If you've taken damage this turn, gets -3 speed instead. That's pretty solid. What it really benefits from is that it's a 6 check on the Earth symbol that you can build in with Titan Cliff. That's one of the biggest benefits here. Is Titan Cliff can just build you in some speed hate. If you're not running a ton of speed hate, that can add to your defensive consistency quite a bit to be able to just go and build a Moth Monster take their damage from their opening attack, and then you have -3 speed on board. I'm going to say B tier. Because if you're not pairing it with a card like Titan Cliff for a free build, it's a 2-diff that is doing basically just as much as Ice Gliding. I know it checks a 6. It has a better block mod and a better block zone than Ice Gliding. But I'd probably rather be running my Speed Hate like this on my spam foundations. And I'd like my 2 difficulty foundations to be doing more powerful effects that are focused more on my game plan. Like on the Earth and Air symbol, I'd rather run like Quick Response, Defending Pageant Queen, something like that, rather than a 2 difficulty here. So, or if I'm on the good symbol, like throw in some more high value targets for Speed Hate rather than this. But if you're pairing it with Titan Cliff, I can see it being pretty solid. I don't think it's bad at all. We're seeing a lot of decks running just tons of 6 checks, especially these 5 difficult, like these. I saw like a Kuryu deck playing a ton of characters in it, so that they could do buddy blocks, and then they could draw off their buddy blocks, and then they could just constantly check 6s because of all the characters in their decks, which is helping them string out like crazy on very few foundations. It was pretty neat. I think there's a place in the game for Moth Monster, but it's not going to get an A from me. Shobijin's Message. 1 difficulty. After you play a block, it gets Breaker 2. I don't care about the block zone on this. It's a spam foundation. You're building it. 95% of the time you're building this. So I don't care about the block mod here. After you play, it gets Breaker 2. This is easy. This is A+. If you're on these symbols, you are putting 2 of this card in your deck. I don't care if you hardly play defense. You're putting 2 of this card in your deck. You know, you can be the most aggro character in the world. You're still going to find room to put a 1 diff that flips for Breaker 2. Right? This is like Keiko's Aid, fighting for control, but now it's on a spam foundation. That's crazy. Easy A+. This card is overpowered compared to the rest of the world. Titanic Combat. 2 diff, 3 low block. Commit after you take damage from an unblocked attack. Build the top card of your deck, face down committed. Your attack commit. This attack gets 2 damage and your rival commits 1 foundation. I think I was lower on this card in the past than I am today. Yeah, I gave it a B. I gave it a B. I think today I would give it a B+. 4 weeks later from the time that I actually made this, I would give it a B+ and not a B. When I first read this, I kind of considered that bottom enhance to be blank. Hey, I don't want to commit my 2 diff for like 2 damage. But it turns out that if you're playing, like for example, Toga 3, right? You play Deception Dagger. You say response, stun 1, and then you Deception Dagger, stun 2. Now you can commit Titanic Combat. You stunned 4 on your opening move. And it can really help you build from that response. So I think that this is very good. You can even, like, if you have any way to unflip it, right? Like Falling Heel Strike. Does Falling Heel Strike share a symbol here? It shares 2 symbols with Ochako 4, who can unflip it. Sam was telling me about that the other day. If you go and watch our, we did a hour-long discussion together. I think he uploaded it yesterday on Orange Card, Blue Card. And he was telling me about Ochako 4 unflipping and readying Titanic Combat. That was a pretty neat interaction here. I think I'd give this a B+. It definitely kind of kicked my butt the other day. I was playing Jeremy's Toga 3 list, and it really helped his stun game plan. So I kind of underestimated the enhance, and I was just thinking about the response. And then I was like, well, it's repeatable male bonding, but it's a little bit worse because you have to commit, and then you build it committed. But still very, very good. Tough Skin, 0 diff, you can flip for -1 damage. That's pretty bad. There's better 0 diffs you can be playing. Maybe in 2025, when Heroes Clash and Crimson Rampage rotate, right? We no longer have Easily Excited, Basic Training. Maybe when those great 0 diffs are out of the game, 0 diffs like this start to see play. Right now, there's definitely better things you could be doing. This is a C tier. Barry says, love this card as a 2 of. Best foundation in the... Oh, he's saying that about Shobijins? Yeah. Best foundation in the product for sure. Playing this in Kurama at 1 with Beneath the Armor for a diverse split, and it's been nice, honestly. Playing this in Kurama. Are you talking about Titanic Combat? Or Shobijins? Do Shobijins have Kurama? I should be reading the chat faster so that I don't do 4 cards and then look at it and I don't know which card. Unmatched power, 3 diff, remove. This attack is X damage. X equals the printed difficulty. It's the first enhance. A 3 difficulty with a bad block modifier having to remove to give something like normally 5 damage. That's not going to be good enough. This is going to be in the C tier. I think it's kind of cute if on Chaos you're using it with Walk the Dog. So you get to remove for 8 damage. That's the only time I can really see this finding play though. And then, even if you're playing like a Chaos Walk the Dog deck, there's better things that you could be doing at your 3 diff spot and your 2 diff spot. Yeah, Titanic combat for Kurama. I can see that, although you don't want to take damage as Kurama. But the enhance is still pretty solid and gets you online faster. You're stuffing their card pool. You made them commit a foundation. Kurama struggles to get damage, so that's nice to add it on. Is that it? Or is it just Unstoppable Force? Sorry, I showed the grade here. But this is at A tier. 1 diff, 4 check, deflect 2, commit, return your attack to its printed speed. I think a lot of people are going to be overlooking this card, but on these symbols, you should really think about running it in your main board. There's so many times my rival is going to barrier shield me, and it's not only to avoid the breaker 2, it's that if they didn't barrier shield, they wouldn't be able to block. They are only able to block because barrier shield took it to 0 speed. So if somebody barrier shields you and then you just commit and you say, nope, I'm back to 4 speed, I'm back to 5 speed, that can be a game winner right there. Deflect has been a very, very powerful keyword in my experience, primarily because it's so rare in the format right now that nobody expects it. And so it'll just throw people off of their math when they're really going for lethal if you have a deflect 2 card in hand. It's a 2 mid block, it's a spam foundation. I think this is going to come up a lot. You know, if you're playing any sort of speed hate character, Rodan is going to be very, very common in the format right now. Jin is going to be pretty common in the format right now. And you can commit and take your attack back to printed. I understand that committing a foundation is a pretty high cost on an attack. But I think this could be a game winner. I think it justifies the 4 check. I think most decks should probably be thinking about running 1 or 2 of this. A tier for me, because when it works, it could be the difference in losing a game and winning a game. And that is going to be our Godzilla deck. In review, we had 8 A tier cards, 9 B tier cards, 5 C tier cards. In all my previous Challenger deck grades videos, like Cowboy Bebop, Trigun, their Critical Role decks, I think my best deck had 4 A tier cards. And in Godzilla, we're getting 8. And I think I was even underrating some of these B tier cards. Only 5 C tier cards. And in the past ones, we were seeing like 10 plus C tier cards. A lot of the Challenger decks were kind of filler, and they weren't really fulfilling their purpose of being geared towards veterans like they told us they were going to be. Godzilla, to me, is the best Challenger series product they've made by far. It might be the best Universes product ever made. In my experience as a player in the last 2 years, Godzilla is definitely the product that's been the best. It's been the best from a competitive standpoint. It's been the best from a unique design standpoint. It's been the best from a secondary market standpoint. You open these alt arts and sometimes they just pay for your deck and then some. Right? Like I opened that Kuryu, sold it the next day for $200. I bought 4 of these. You know, it was $140 at my local game store to buy 4 decks. And then I immediately sold one of my pulls for $200 and more than paid for my 4 decks. So it's great for collectors. It's great for players. They're just a home run. I like the art on them. They're unique. You're getting 3 characters per Challenger deck. This is how a Challenger deck should be. I'm not sure we're going to see a Challenger deck for the rest of the year be better than the Godzilla Challenger deck. I missed the attacks. What did you rate Mothra and Electric Moth? I'll go back and show everyone real quick. In Mushroom Girl, you can commit and destroy for +1 speed, which is cool. Oh yeah, that's neat. For Unstoppable Force, commit this, get it back to printed, and then destroy it and make it printed +1. Yeah, I gave Electric Moth was my 1 attack here that I gave an A+. Because it's best friends with Falling Skies. Falling Skies is the best attack in the game. And so this is best friends with it. It's a charge. It's a high attack. It's super consistent. Discard 1, draw 2 is great. Discard 1, draw 3. It's got that hidden deadlock in there. It's a 2 mid block. I just don't see what character doesn't run Electric Moth. Maybe Battle Aura Release is like a better pick for some characters, but just run both. Just run Electric Moth and Battle Aura Release. You don't have to choose between the two of them. And then Mothra, I gave a B. I don't think she's bad. Just not as obviously good as Kuryu and Godzilla. So that's where I ended there. Okay, that was the Godzilla Challenger deck. Now let's jump into the Gadora Challenger deck. Before I go too much into that, let me just remind everybody that at 10 a.m., we still have 4 spots open for the first major tournament in the Webcam circuit. 10 a.m., I'm going to be allowing signups all the way until 9:45 a.m. So if you wanted to play, you still have a chance to get in there and play. Well, if you have a completely free Saturday. Because this is going to be 5 rounds of Swiss, 3 rounds of top cuts. We'll probably be playing until like 10 p.m. But if you lose a couple rounds in Swiss, you can go ahead and drop and have the rest of your Saturday. So, and if you're still playing in top cuts, that means you're getting these really cool prizes of like $100 and invite to the $3,000 World Championship, 3 boxes, and a play mat to first place. So, pretty good there if you're one of the players still playing at like 9 p.m. tonight. Okay, I'm going to take a break for my voice. I think it's because it's 6 a.m. It's so early. I'm going to check my Discord too and see if anybody is desperately needing me yet. Okay, I have 3 notifications. Let's check these out. I didn't like the deck. I submitted my form. Just submitted it. Did you get it, Crichton? Let me see. I'll let you know soon. If someone is unregistered, are they dropped? Yes. Slay is resubmitting their deck list because they cannot locate their falling skies. All right. I'm back. Sorry, just admin stuff for the event. I'm going to drop off here in just like 20 minutes. Okay, Gadora, 6 hand size, 10 health. You're not giving any stats, but you can consistently find the card that you want to find because of this enhance. Commit, remove a card from your hand. Choose an attack or foundation from discard pile and remove it. You may try and play that this turn. So because of the commit cost, this is either offense or defense. So on offense, you can use this to consistently find Dropkick Slicer. On defense, you could use this to consistently find a block like True 100% to get a completely free block since you're always at 10 or less health. He's going to make great use of all of the Hiei cards when you're at 10 or less health. And then he gets to regenerate, so you can make use of like a card like Airy. You could, if you built multiple Aries over the course of a game, it's as if you got to use Airy 2 or 3 times. He's basically a 30 health character. I think Gadora's very good, but not A tier. My brother has been playing a ton of Evil Gadora, and it is sometimes very frustrating to play against because he just won't die. And I've been playing Bionic a lot into it, and so it's always just a race. Can I kill Gadora before I mill myself out? And a lot of times the answer is no, I'm going to mill out because of this extra protection that he gets. He gets this built-in protection against like Armor of the Wolf, Walk the Dog, and all of these other dunk attacks. He just has this built-in protection against it. You're not going to be able to just one-hit Gadora. It's going to take you several turns. The benefit is that typically Gadora does kind of struggle to backswing you. At least for my brother's evil list, I know that the only card I really have to be worried about is True 100%. And then if I have an answer for it, he's going to need a second True 100%. Otherwise, we're just kind of playing a very long game. Right? It's kind of like Kirishima 3, where he can drag the game out a lot, but that doesn't mean that he can win the game all the time. Dragging the game out does not necessarily mean you're winning. It just means that you're being very difficult to kill. Because he's not giving the stats, I can't really put him in A tier in my mind at the moment, but B plus for sure. Would not be surprised at all if he made a top cuts. I would be pretty shocked if he actually won an event. What Discord channel are we going to be in? We are going to be in my Discord. If you look at the description of this stream right now, there should be an invite to my Discord that you can go and use to join. Once you're in, I'm going to be done with this stream in 30 minutes. If you don't have the player role yet, then I'll go and give you the player role. Once you have the player role, you'll see the 32 tables and the webcam circuit chat and everything like that. So it's going to be my Discord. And then we have Bionic Menace, 6 hand size, 29 health. Remove the top 3 cards of your deck. It gets +2/+2. Oh, hold on one sec, guys. I gotta go help my kiddos. All right, I'm back. Sorry. My kids do grandparents' night once every 2 weeks, and then my wife and I go on a date. So we did it last night. We actually went to go watch the Blue Lock movie, Chapter Nagi. I would say it was 7 out of 10. It was very, very good. Not as good as the Haikyuu movie. So my kids just got back. I was just making sure that they were all good. And that my wife was awake and everything. So once I get the event set up, I'm going to go and hang out with them. Tam is going to do the first round with Sean from Rochester for commentary. And then I think Jeremy's going to jump on. And Jeremy and Tam are going to do commentary. And then I'm going to jump on with Tam for top cuts today. But I don't think I'll be on commentary until top cuts, unless I'm needed. Okay, so 6 hand size Bionic Menace, 29 health. Remove the top 3 cards of your deck, +2/+2. I think this guy's like baby Endeavor 3. You're getting Endeavor 3 stats right away. You get to pick and choose your spots to attack better, right? Endeavor 3 just has a kind of small window to do it, but he can mill himself out pretty quickly. And then you get this commit after you take damage from an attack, commit when rival foundation. You can play Bionic just crazy aggro to throw +2/+2 on everything very, very early on turn 2 before your rival has the defensive wall to defend well enough. Or you can play Bionic as like a backswing type character. That's what I've been doing recently, where like on the order symbol, you get access to a ton of selective committal. You can commit something on their turn, and then you can just commit their entire stage down. You can use you get a lot of stun moves on order, Patchwork Baby, Walk the Dog, Lightning Rod, that one that gets a speed for every single committed foundation, that Shards of Winter. You get just a ton of stun moves on order. You get access to things, or Ice Sword Execution too. You get like Deadbolt, Drunken Fighting to commit things on their turn. If you have a couple Drunken Fightings out, basically you're telling them, if you attack me, I will commit 3 of your foundations on your turn, and you're going to be wide open for +2/+2 on the backswing. So I think there's a couple different ways you could go here with Bionic. Crazy aggro, backswing. Probably lacks the consistency of Endeavor 3 a little bit. So I'm going to call him Baby Endeavor. That's still A tier. Baby Endeavor is still good. Yeah, this is what he is. Endeavor 3 is the best in the game. So if you're like a miniature version of that, you're still very, very good. I think Bionic's a top 15 character in the game, maybe top 10. And you can see that I spent the money to get this, and there's a good chance this is what I'll be playing in St. Louis. Rodon, 7 hand size, 21 health. This guy's top 3. He's A+. Easy top 3. I think it's Endeavor 3, Amajiki, and Rodon right now as the best characters in the game. I don't think really anybody else is close to them in terms of the top 3. They're just far and away the best characters at the moment. Maybe Toga 3, maybe Byakko, but I think they've kind of separated themselves. The best speed manipulation character here, plus X or minus X speed, depending on the printed block modifier of the top card of your discard pile. We have a ton of different ways to design the top card of our discard pile. If you're using Knott's Flask, you get to choose the order that the 3 go into your discard pile. If you're using like Prone to Dry Eyes, you could discard a card, and then you could selectively discard the card that has the highest block modifier. So lots of different ways to mess with the top of our discard and make sure we have a 3 or 4 block modifier card there. And then you get this enhanced. You can look at the 2 top cards of your deck and switch the order of them. So he's like a baby. He's like a baby Eraserhead on the top enhance, with how good he is at speed manipulation and how he has access to a constant mid block with combined firepower. And then he's like another version of Jiro 1 on the bottom enhance, because he can see the future of his deck, selectively check the good one, draw the attack. At a certain point in the game, you can start looking at the top 4 cards of your deck, which is just crazy unfair. When that happens, Rodon, easy A+. If anybody has an alt art of Rodon that they're looking to sell, hit me up, because I'll probably be buying at some point. I'm going to kind of see how the alt art market shakes out. If these prices fall at any point, are they going to really stabilize around this $200 mark? Or with how common they are they going to kind of fall to more $100? I already bought Bionic Menace, and so I'm not sure I want to buy a second alt art until I kind of see what the secondary market does over the course of the next few weeks. But at some point, I'm definitely going to be buying alternate Rodon. Combined firepower. I got it from Mark. Finally got him back in the game. Nice. Welcome back. We got Rodon's favorite card here, Combined Firepower. It only shares one symbol with them, the Void symbol. Does not count towards progressive difficulty. And you can respond with it from the discard pile to play it. Anytime you remove a card as a cost, which Rodon always does, you can play it from your discard pile during this attack. It gets this enhanced mill 4, +1 damage for each non-foundation milled this way. I've already said on Void Rodon, I love this card with Knott's Flask. Knott's Flask is a non-foundation, so it helps to have an asset and action heavy deck for Combined Firepower's damage. You're going to get to selectively choose what goes on top of your discard pile for Rodon. Well, I guess you do that after you remove, so it wouldn't be too much use at that point. But it's also damage. Rodon's adding all this speed. If you use all of your Combined Firepowers, if you respond with all 4 of these, you could be getting +10 damage on something. It's a 1 diff, so you can use it on pretty much any of your attacks. It's not going to count towards progressive difficulty. You can do a lot of funny stuff here on any cards that like discard a non-attack from your card pool. And then you can respond with it again. Like I've seen people using Rabbit Kick, and then they discard Combined Firepower, and then they get to use Combined Firepower again. Or that one action that says discard a non-attack and then draw a card. I think that's only Undaunted Raid characters, but there's a lot of very, very similar things that you could be doing. You could probably use that like Dobby card, that attack where it combos off of an action, and then you get to add that action to your momentum. I can't remember what attacks that is. I've always wanted to make that work, and it's just never worked. And now we only have 6 months until No, it's League of Villains. Is it League of Villains? Yeah, it's League of Villains. Okay, so we'll have 2025 to deal with it too. I think this is going to enable... Oh, it's also on the death symbol Twisting Azure Inferno. Imagine you get to use all of your Combined Firepowers, and you get to respond for the 2 damage from Twisting Azure Inferno, and pretty soon you've added 20 damage to your attack. That's nuts. I think there's going to be a lot of crazy things going on here. Easy A tier. It's definitely not an action for everybody. You have to be removing cards pretty consistently to make it happen, but there's definitely going to be some cracked combos here. Golden Death, 1 difficulty asset. Remove, if there's 2 or more attacks in your rival's card pool, they remove a card from their hand. This is on your rival's turn. You can do this. Imagine on the Void symbol, you pair this with a card like Hold Hostage. I'll remove this, get rid of a card in your hand. I'm going to hold hostage. I'll selectively get rid of an attack from your hand. I've removed 2 cards from their hand. Good luck. Form, remove, name a card type, then reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. Add all cards of the name type to your hand to discard the rest. This could actually be like, this is a sneaky strong 1 difficulty asset just to remove and name Foundation. Name Foundation. Hey, I got 2 Foundations in my hand. I guess typically you're probably naming attack. If you really, this is basically like a sort of like stun grenade. where you get to look at the top 3 and hopefully you're hitting an attack and getting to add it to your hand. Except this could be better stun grenade because you get to add all of them to your hand potentially. But even if you just build a 1 difficulty asset, form, name foundation, get 2 foundations, that's very good just right there. So this is easy A tier to me. Death from above, 6 diff, 6 high 3, remove something from your discard pile, gets X damage, X equals the removed attack's printed damage. So a lot of times this can be a 6 high 9 if you're removing a 6 damage attack. If you have 8 or more cards in your remove pile, draw 2 cards. This was an attack that I thought was going to be a lot better than it was. But then I found myself cutting it even from my Rodan lists. So I gave this a B at the time. I think I could go all the way down to B- right now. It's 6 difficulty. The bottom enhance is not online consistently enough to make it worth it to play a 6 high 9 6 diff to me with a terrible block mod. 4 mid block mod, which works in a character like Rodan, but in all other characters they don't want it. And like I said, I'm cutting it even for my Rodan lists. So yeah, B tier, maybe that's too high. Falling Crush, which is a bummer because that alternate art goes really hard. And I pulled one. So I want it to be good. 3 diff, 3 low, 3 slam. Remove foundation gets 2 damage. That's 8 stats on a 3 diff. It's a 1 low block. This is a very, very good card. The problem is I don't know who's going to play it. I shouldn't say very, very good card. I'm just saying that stats, like, the card should be good. That's solid stats for a 3 div. It's a great block mod. It's just not doing anything to really enhance your game plan. I don't see a lot of characters going out of their way to run Falling Crush. It's kind of similar to the 3 difficulty in Godzilla, where it's like, this is good. I just don't see who's going to play it. I'd be very shocked if I went to St. Louis and someone played one of these against me. Focus, maybe if there's like some 3 difficulty tribal deck. Right, now we have these 5 difficulty tribal decks with Godzilla. Maybe a future character really wants you to play 3 difficulty attacks, and then Falling Crush is going to be very, very good. But right now, not loving it. Currently running Falling Crush and Bionic Menace. Okay, that makes sense. Now it's like a 5 low 7. 5 low 7 on a 3 diff. That's, yeah, that's not a bad finisher there. Okay, that makes sense, especially in Bionic if you're wanting to string out early on a few foundations. I can see it. Focus Gravity Beam. 1 low 4, powerful 3, stun 1. Remove a card from your hand. Remove this attack after it resolves. 1 high block. This card is interesting, but I don't see this finding play. My teammate George, I guess, is he still our reigning national? Yeah, he's still our reigning national champion. He really likes this attack, and I've seen him running it in different decks. So I could be wrong here, but it's 5 stat. I guess if you add stun 1, it's like 6 stats on a 4 diff. I understand the other 3 things. Like 1 high block is good. Powerful 3 is good. Getting to remove it after it resolves is good. But that's a pretty high cost to remove a card from your hand. Powerful 3 is going to be dependent on momentum. I would rather dump my momentum into a powerful 3 card that's actually going to hit, like Walk the Dog, where you're getting 6 speed and not just 1 speed. I would much rather that powerful 3 say EX3 so that we could help out the weakness of this card. Because as it is, the card's not doing anything to like help out its weakness. But like I said, George likes it, so there's a good chance I'm wrong. And it actually finds play in some competitive decks, but I'm going to go C+. Multiple bites. 4 diff, 3 mid, 6. If you removed a card this turn, draw a card, 2 mid block. This is just a nice, boring, good card. I will say I see a lot of decks running this card, and I think it's going to be pretty overrated. I also saw like a lot of decks in early Yu Yu Hakusho running 45% power, the 4 high 4 draw card, and I also thought that attack was pretty overrated. It just feels nice to play a 4 diff, I guess, that draws. But it's just not doing enough to me. Like Electric Moth is so much better at doing this. Electric Moth says discard 1, draw 2. Draw 2 is just way better than draw 1, and then sometimes it's drawing you 3, and it's a high attack instead of a mid attack. I would much rather run Electric Moth compared to Multiple Bites. There's probably better draw cards. Like on the all symbol, you have a ton of different draw options. On Void, give me Turbo Speed Dash instead of Multiple Bites. Give me like Shards of Winter instead of Multiple Bites. On evil, give me vial seizing instead of multiple bites. So I'm not a big fan of this card. I don't think it's bad by any stretch of the imagination. It's just B tier. Card says draw a card. Tends to bump up scores. Yeah, everybody likes an attack that draws. I run it in Rodan. The best you get is removing a card like Supersonic Flight. I run it in Rodan only as a means that it's a printed 6 damage card for death from above. Oh, multiple bites? Yeah, oh, I see. It's a 6 damage 4 diff that you can remove with this. Yeah, that makes sense. You always want to be finding at least a 6 damage card for death from above. Yeah, 9 stats. I mean, typically you see a 4 difficulty draw have 8 stats. So 9 stats is a little bit better. I just think that there's probably, in a deck that's going to win a major event, I think it's probably going to be running a little higher quality of attacks than multiple bites. Overwhelming Gravity Beam. This is a 1 mid 5. It's basically a throw because of the first enhance. Other enhance, your rival maybe commits one. It's maybe like a 1 mid 5 stun one. I don't think that's that good. C tier for me. Swooping Talons, kind of blank. 2 high 7, bad block mod, EX3, C tier. Just going to run through those. Try Gravity Beam, 4 mid 5, Deadlock Stun 3, destroy a foundation. If you use 2 other attacks in your card pool, look at your rival's hand and remove 1 card from it. This is very similar to that card. What was it? I ran a copy in my Hawks deck for the HLC. Blood Moon Rending. Very similar to Blood Moon Rending, except it's easier. Blood Moon Rending, you have to combo off of an attack and then a weapon. This is just saying if there's 2 attacks in your card pool. So even if a character like Mineta 2 stuffs your card pool, as long as you just have 2 other attacks in your card pool, you get to get this enhance off. So a very, very easy combo requirement. In fact, I was thinking the other day, we really haven't seen a lot of combo cards. Whenever you look at combo cards, it's really just like Eraserhead 1 cards and Eraserhead 2 cards. And then they just kind of, it feels like they forgot about combo. We haven't seen many characters care about combo. We haven't seen a lot of combo cards actually get played because they're so susceptible to disruption. And so it's probably hard to balance the strength of the card because you don't want it to be just extremely strong. But even if it's strong, it doesn't see play like Blood Moon Rending because the combo requirement is so hard. And decks just want to be consistent right now. We just want to play a string of 4 difficulty attacks that all say draw, and then we add stats to all of them. Right, that's kind of been the name of the game for the last year. And combo decks are going to take away from your consistency, and we just can't have that. So I haven't seen a lot of combo cards. This is an easier, basically, version of combo. If at least one of your cards has been removed this turn, this deck is 2 damage. So now it's a 4 diff, 4 mid 7. That's 11 stats on a 4 diff. Very, very good. And you're possibly getting to remove a card from your rival's hand, and it has Deadlock. I think this attack is really, really good. I'm going to put it in the A tier. Even though it's really good, I don't think it's going to see a lot of play. It's going to be very good in certain characters and certain deck builds. But for the vast majority of deck builds, you're probably playing something else. So some cards are A tier because you're just going to see them everywhere. And some cards are A tier because when you do see them, they're going to be doing very powerful things. And that's where I think Try Gravity Beam kind of falls. So even though it's not going to see a lot of representation, I think it's still A tier. Battle for Dominance. Spam Foundation 2 low block. Remove a card from your card pool. If you did, draw 1 card. So this is a Spam Foundation that says flip draw. And it's saying -1 speed to all of your rival attacks for the rest of the turn. Because it gets to clear your card pool on defense. The downside is you can't use it on offense. And you have to have blocked with something or played something in order to be able to use this. Still, I think that that this is A tier to me. This is I love defensive draw. -1, the hidden text of -1 speed to all of your rivals' moves. It's a 2 low block. I was thinking about this on Void with Hold Hostage. Sorry, Hold Hostage has just been kind of on my brain. But you play Hold Hostage, remove something from the hand, and then you flip Battle for Dominance, remove the Hold Hostage, and then you get to draw. There could be something there. Okay, I can see a lot of messages in my chat, so I'm going to take some time here. It's Blood Moon Rending, but a bit better. Try Gravity Beam is probably great in Woman. Yeah, you'll always get to remove something. It's going to be like a It's going to be like a 5-speed, 11 damage move in Woman. Woman struggles to actually land moves, so that removing something from their hand could be a big deal. Deadlock Stun 3 isn't nothing. Yeah, I really like how they just added Deadlock Stun 3 to both of the Ultra Rares. Because both of them would have been fine just on their own. But they're like, they're the Ultra Rares of the set. Slap Deadlock Stun 3 on them. And I think that kind of works. Void Nagant, you can remove the clogged card from her enhanced cancel. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, so you cancel their opener. Typically, Nagant clogging your card pool is a downside of the character, but now you get to turn that downside into a feature and not a bug by using Battle for Dominance to draw a card. Yeah, I think this is just a very, very good defensive spam foundation. I run it in almost all of my decks on these symbols. Evasive Maneuver, spam foundation, 2 high block, commit for -2 speed. That's already good. If it's a low, it gets -3 speed instead. So we see this a lot. A spam foundation that commits for -2. If some sort of threshold is met, it could be -3. Like Ice Gliding is -2 speed to this attack, -1 speed to the next one if it's blocked. So sometimes you're getting to commit for -3. And this is better than that. Because one, low attacks are very, very common in the game right now. Black Abyss, Walk the Dog, Blue Flame Torment, Heat Ray. We're seeing a lot of rapid punches, Smashing Stomp. We're seeing a lot of kind of like mono low decks, honestly. So I think Evasive Maneuver is very good in this meta at the time. And I think even without that, just commit for -2 speed with the 2 high block on a spam foundation. I think this is very, very good. We got another A tier card. I'm going to say A-. This isn't like game changing a lot of times, but it's just nice, solid spam for Air, All, and Void. Yeah, it's averse to water, but better. Exactly. Between these two cards, we're just some solid spam foundations here. Oh, sorry. Galactic Monster. You can try and play it as a form from your remove from game pile. Commit for +2. If they're at 10 or more, like Sneaky Deadlock, this gets +4. That's fine. The best thing about this card is just that you can play it from your remove from game pile. So if you remove this for 3 speed as Rodan, you can play it. If you remove this as Gadora to play something else, then you can play it. It's going to be B tier. I don't see it finding play in any decks that aren't consistently removing it. And then even in the decks that are consistently removing it, I'm not sure they're going to be running this over like Polite and Well Spoken, simply because this is a 2 diff and that's a 1 diff. And then both of them just really aren't that great. Like if you build this in your opening hand, I would rather see, in my opening hand, I want to see any other 2 difficulty foundation than Galactic Monster. But there's no doubt that it's going to find some play in a deck that can consistently remove it. Malicious Evil, 1 diff, 3 mid block, flip, choose a rival foundation. Abilities on the chosen card cannot be played for the rest of this enhanced step. So if you're on your finishing attack, you can use Malicious Evil, turn off their Broken Psyche, turn off their condescending explanation, some ultra powerful defensive piece, and now you can get your big attack through. I think that's going to have utility, but I'm going to put it as C+ because it doesn't turn it off for the turn. So it doesn't like seal it for the turn. It has a bad block modifier. I think this is a sideboard card. I maybe should have said B- because it's a sideboard. It's a card that I could actually see winning a game. If you had Malicious Evil in your stage, you get to win. If you don't have something like this in your stage, you don't get to win. So maybe C+ is too low. I just don't see a lot of characters mainboarding this card. It's going to be really, really hard to mainboard this instead of a card like Evasive Maneuver, where you just get this consistent, everybody likes commit for -2 speed. I think C+ is probably too low. I should have gone B-. Should have put it in the B tier because it wouldn't shock me if this card was being ran in a deck that even wins St. Louis, right? It would shock me if it was mainboarded maybe, but coming in from the side, I could see it. Monster 0, remove. Your rival removes 1 card from their hand. If they have 8 or more foundations, this attack gets 3 damage. So sometimes this is just going to be remove. Your rival discards a card from their hand, basically removes it from their hand. It's on your turn. You're having to remove a 3 difficulty foundation. A lot of games that's just not going to matter. they're going to have enough defensive draw on stage to where they can just replenish it, and it's not a big deal. But sometimes it's going to be a huge deal. And, if they only have 2 cards in hand, you took them down to 1, they can only block 1 thing. Now you can win the game. So I'm going to say B-. This is probably the category I should have put Malicious Evil in, where it's like, hey, 70% of the time it's probably doing nothing. 20-30% of the time it's doing a lot. Quick Arrival, destroy a foundation for +1 speed. Yeah, this is like worse monster aggression, we see this a lot. B-, because it's a 2 mid block. If this was like a 2 high block or a 2 low block, I would say B tier. As it is, I'll say B-. There's probably better things you could be doing, but it's not bad. Destroy 1, get a speed. Relentless Challenger, 6 check, deflect 2. If you have 10 or less health, gets +1 or -1 damage. This is like Gadora's favorite card here. Gadora gets a few of these out. He's giving everything 2 or 3 damage. Then he can play some like throws and steadily chip away at his rival. On defense, he's getting to make his rivals like 6, 7 damage moves, 3 or 4 damage moves. With several of these out, then it gets really hard to even get through 10 health of Gadora. For Gadora, oh, B+. I think that's too high. Okay, I made these slides 4 weeks ago. And so I think I would give this card a B. Good in certain characters. I mean, it's a 6 check, deflect 2, decent block mod. It's hard to be bad, but I'm not sure it's B+. I should have said B. Okay, I can sense that I'm losing my voice and it's time to jump off here. Man, I really am. I got to go recover before I do commentary with Tam today. It's actually a very good thing that Sean from Rochester is doing the commentary for round 1. Flip, this attack at 0 damage. C. Supersonic Flight, B. Man. I really am. Lost my voice, so that's nice that it's at the very end. Yeah, I'll say B, C, and that's it for Gadora. 7, 8, and 7. This is perfect balance in the world. Yeah, I'm going to rest my voice for, I think it's just that it's early in the morning too. Early in the morning, I got to go drink some water, go touch some grass, and get ready. So, yeah, Gadora deck is perfect balance. 7, 8, and 7. Both of these decks are the best challenger decks we've gotten this year. I think Godzilla beats Gadora by just a little bit. 7, 8, and 7. And 8, 9, and 5. Man. Okay, that is going to do it for me because I think Tam is going to go live in 2 minutes. We have 4 spots still available for the major tournament. Guys, you have 1 hour. Sleeve up some cards. Come sign up. Wow. I can't talk at all. Come sign up. I'll see you in just a little bit. Really appreciate you guys.